Assalamualaikum. My name is Amin Asyrafi Yassin Zainol, Matric number 11722052. Today I will present about exploring variabilities and similarities in the daily chapter of commitment between Sayr, Salikin and Ihya Ulumuddin manuscript, a comparative study proposal. Background of the research. In this study, researchers want to show the reader the differences and similarities in the subject of everyday commitments between Sayr al-Salikin manuscript and Ihya Ulumuddin book by Imam al-Ghazali. Reader may know the basic of manuscript and ancient Jawi book. Everyday commitments are something that people usually do every day, and manuscripts are handwritten books that are not printed. Next, problem statement. This project called Exploring Variabilities and Similarities in Day-to-Day Work between Sayr, Salikin and Ihya Ulumuddin manuscript will be created to overcome the issue that looked by readers and researchers also. Incorporate objectivism in order to help people understand and use the research. By developing this research, the comparative between these two books will be used to learn more about belief and the others. The Book of Ihya Ulumuddin by Imam al-Ghazali contains 4 volumes written to refer to the manuscript of the Sayr Salikin. The daily work section, it is explained about wisdom mixing that occurs between human beings, twists and turns, sunnah, the finesse and the nature of self-preservation, hidden locally his way, which is what a religious person should have. Researcher will study the Rubu' section of daily work, which contains 10 different but relevant chapters in life. The first chapter discusses eating habits. The second tells about marriage. The third is about the law of trying to work. The next 4 chapters talk about halal and illegal chapters. In the 5th chapter, this book talks about being friends and interacting with various group of people. In the 6th chapter is uzlah. The next is the manners in the mission of traveling in a long way. Chapter 8 tells about hearing and feeling something. The 9th chapter talks about inviting goods and preventing evil. And finally, the 10th chapter tells about manners in life and acts like a prophet. Study will dissect the past scientists about this examination and think about the substance in the book of Ihya Ulumuddin and Sayr Salikin manuscript. Research question. First, what are the differences and similarities between the manuscript Sayr al-Salikin and the Kitab of Ihya Ulumuddin by Imam al-Ghazali? Second, what is the plausible comparative study between manuscript and the Kitab Ihya Ulumuddin? Third, how to analyze a specific topic about everyday commitments from the manuscript Sayr al-Salikin and Kitab Ihya Ulumuddin by Imam al-Ghazali. Research objective: to discover the differences and similarities between the manuscript Sayr al-Salikin and the Kitab of Ihya Ulumuddin by Imam al-Ghazali. Second, to illustrate a comparative study between about content respectively between Sayr al-Salikin and Ihya Ulumuddin by Imam al-Ghazali. Third, to examine a particular subject about everyday commitments from the manuscript Sayr al-Salikin and Kitab Ihya Ulumuddin by Imam al-Ghazali. Significance of research. This study will be a noteworthy undertaking in learning about the difference between two types of book, which is manuscript and ancient Jawi, and improving all other people understanding the book. The examination between these books can be handily observed and comprehended. Advantage to other people out there, to the individuals who might want to examine this book in more profundity, which will expand the outcome nature of data that they get. The improvement of this research, like the focus point of this research, is that this examination analyze the particular section contained in the two books. This study will help address the issue looked by individuals out there while finding out about the book, and furthermore accomplish the target of introducing a variabilities and likeness between the two books. Intends to share the result of the analysis with people, hoping that this research can improve the comprehension of the book's overall differences and similarities in a particular chapter compared to studying one book at a time. This exploration might be a beginning stage for some individuals out there who need to learn about the book in more profundity. Literature review. The study is focusing on defining terms of manuscript. In addition, the research found manuscript that are literally work in the form of handwriting, whether in form fragment or full manuscript. This book known is a masterpiece of mysticism in the Malay language, a very famous work in the archipelago. This book is made up of four constitutions as well as the book of humankind. The first constitution states the knowledge of Usuluddin and all matters pertaining to open worship. The second constitution that expresses custom is to state the laws and customs that apply to customs such as eating and so on. The third element in the proclamation is that the things that destroy the charity. The fourth element in expressing the seriousness of things that release from the destruction of charity. Each ancient manuscript and book has different advantage and disadvantage. However, the content is the same, which is knowledgeable and useful for present and future generations. Both types of book use Jawi as writing to disseminate knowledge from a writer. In addition, the technology world, we are updating the old books so that they will not be lost for future generations. In my opinion, ancient Jawi books are more popular nowadays because they are used in religious school as a medium of learning. Research methodology, research design. The methodology that will be used is qualitative research design. This research design was chosen in this study because this method research requires the researcher to study and examine the differences and similarities between manuscript of Sayr al-Salikin and the ancient book of Ihya Ulumuddin in context of everyday commitment. Next, data collection. To study and explore the differences and similarities in subject of everyday commitments, researcher will study the Sayr al-Salikin manuscript and Ihya Ulumuddin by Imam al-Ghazali simultaneously to gain the data and information. Next, instrument. This data analysis and research also require comparison study between about content respectively between Sayr al-Salikin and Ihya Ulumuddin by Imam al-Ghazali. Next, sample. First, the differences and similarities. Second, specific subject about everyday commitment. These two have been selected because they are very important elements in the research of this manuscript. These are both focus on the everyday commitments element and contain the difference and similarities between manuscript and ancient Jawi book. As data analysis, researcher will use thematic analysis, a method of analyzing qualitative data. It is usually applied to a set of texts such as interview transcript. The researcher closely examines the data to identify common themes, topics, ideas, and patterns of meaning that come repeatedly.